The life and times of Archbishop John Enoyogeri Edokpolo, also known as Erogwe, is Erogwe. Archbishop John Enoyogeri Edokpolo was born on the 9th of October 1918 in Egwadase Quarters, now known as Egwadase Street off Akpakpava Road, Benin City. His father was Mr. Asemoto Edokpolo and his mother, Mrs. Emehase Edokpolo. On his paternal side, he had 4 brothers and 5 sisters, while on his maternal side, he had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. He was the last child of both parents. In his lifetime, he was married and survived by 42 children. He started his elementary education in 1929 in the Roman Catholic School in Benin City. He couldn't complete his elementary school and left in 1932 due to financial constraints. This was not a barrier, but rather a challenge. With no money to continue his education, he went into trading in various items like kerosene, bicycle, and rubber. In the history of many people, some were born great, some achieved greatness, while others were destined to be great. However, in our father's lifetime, he was not born great, he was destined to be great. Yet, he did not just sit down and wait for it to happen. Our daddy lived in destiny. A man will become what God has ordained. Instance of this was seen during the coronation of the Oba Akinzua II. In Oyogeri, as he was popularly involved, daddy had a dance they called Akasa. He performed so well in this colorful ceremony that the Oba was impressed, and in recognition collected from him the dance instrument Akasa and danced with it. History was made on that day because by the Benin tradition, anyone that is so honored is destined to be great. He also told us of a story of how he went with late Chief Agbotine and Chief Francis Edo State to Ibomima in Edo State. While the 3 of them were in the boatman fell into a trance, and when he woke up, he told them that it was revealed to him that he was carrying 3 great men. It will interest you to note that these men, Archbishop J.E. Edokpolo, late Chief Agbotine, and Chief Francis Edo State, became icons in their respective fields. By the grace of God, this was a self-made man who evolved by dint of hard work and visionary. Pursued from his humble beginning, he built a business empire and became an industrialist as well as a business guru. He played politics and broke many barriers. He achieved what the educated couldn't. Daddy was appointed Minister Commissioner in 1963 of Trade and Industry in the Midwestern region. Propelled by his interest in education, which he couldn't have owing to financial constraints, he invested heavily in education by building primary and secondary schools. In Christendom, he built a church and his land lease. As a businessman, he facilitated the establishment of several Christian organizations, including the New Covenant Gospel Church and the Mark of Christ. He attained the highest position as an archbishop in 1966. He was a foremost estate developer and created a good number of residential and commercial estates in the then Midwestern region. He had extensive land holdings in Benin City, some of which were left to litigation early in the Supreme Court. He was a friend of the court. Our father was a lover of children. He was interested in them and always prayed to God to bless them and prosper them. He was a disciplinarian par excellence. He believed in the saying, spare the rod and spoil the child.
If these churches they couldn't found it, how would the BPS exist? Because I see with my calculation every hour, the money the BPS is collecting from the different churches. Those days, if Okotia forgot that at those days, he could have, Nigeria could have killed him even without no coup. The money that the churches are collecting, because they are now commercial churches, they are money making. So the PBS, all the television, the radio, they can't have money from them. As which you are doing it for me free now, they are not doing it free for the church. The correct thing is that the churches, everybody wants to have his name before God. We don't know. My late colleague, Agoriwe, the Bishop of St. Matthew, he said, I read in Bible and I was taught in Bible that there is heaven I have never seen. What did I say? Say, I read in Bible. I was taught in Bible, but I heard there is heaven I have never seen. Who have seen heaven? Every one of us try to imitate the best of the best reading Bible to try to get way out where we can get kingdom of heaven. So every day by day, you will be getting church upon church every year and then. Look at my son, the most Arch Bishop in the house. He has about nearly 280 branches of churches in the world. His own senior brother, elder in the house, was my headman. They even build him up. Today, God promotes the young man. He has found the whole work of God everywhere in the world. You see what I mean? So therefore, the people, either they are training the criminals, they are training reverend, they are training pastor, but the world knows that they open a branch of church, isn't it? No be so. No be so. They open a branch of church. I don't know who they are training. Because everybody go to court. You will see 210 cases you have. The Bible says this way. There's no say it be pagan. Everybody be Christian. So you go to prison, yes, you won't see pagan there. So my fear is that by the grace of God, God should change these people. Change the whole world. Because this country is become rotting, nowhere out. It become rotting, nowhere out.
So the churches are no way out of the...
What are you telling me? I'm telling you that the churches, the reverend is preaching their own. The people who come to the church, when they leave the church, the reverend go pray. He go put his own mind for their mind. If they tell you, they say, Father.
Whenever we misbehaved, he corrected us and locking us in a room for some time to enable us realize our errors. He instilled godly principles in us. It was compulsory for us to go to church on Sundays to worship and serve God. No wonder today many of us are true Christians and pastors in various churches. In his sober moments, he was very spiritual and devoted his time, talent, and treasure to the service of God, as he fully realized that all good things flow from the Almighty. He built a church. His church, Christian Salvation Church International, also known as Liberty Center, at number 6 Upper Dawson off Mission Road, Benin City, where he gladly worshipped with his family, students, and staff of his educational establishment. Paddy Man, as we fondly called him, believed in hard work as a prerequisite for success in life. He often preached to us that heaven helps those who help themselves. During holidays, when other children played away their times, it was mandatory for us to work in the rubber factory or in the building sites, as he enjoyed putting up buildings. After his early exits from primary school in 1937, owing to constraints, he realized the importance of money and made debut into the world of business and money making. Initially, he started selling kerosene, bicycles, rubber lobs, and shoes between 1937 and 1947.
I always tell people, even though I have it in mind to say something when I hold than this, if God still spare me. When I was young, my father is very, very well to do, and my mother is very well to do. Let me say that. Because before I can go read to standard 1 in school, I from one job to another, I carry what is called a ton to get 1 shilling to dance in the public when I'm not crazy. Before I get money, I felt with me what would make me to become a human. And then God heard my prayer. From even a gardener with Homopolos, I become somebody. Then I said, I vow to my God that all whatever I have in life, I should put 75% of my wealth in education.
He progressed into building processing factory, the Edokpolo rubber factory, which employed hundreds of staff and added value to the raw materials before exports to earn hard currency. He traded with Mrs. Thomas Polo, who owned a big foreign firm in the rubber market. In attaining these, he had challenges which he surmounted with the help of God. Some of the challenges in his early life included the following. One fateful day, on his way to Onitsha to buy bicycles, he was attacked by a gang of armed robbers who attacked him with the intention of robbing him, but they met their Waterloo when he single-handedly disarmed them. Another instance was while he was trading in iron rods in 1979. He ordered 2 shiploads of rods from Armstrong, Germany. The ship sank. He almost took his life, if not for the intervention of God. In 1979, he went into partnership with a German firm to establish the same Edo wire industry. Today, the federal government is seeking to diversify a monolithic oil economy to industrialize the country, create jobs, and earn foreign exchange through export of goods and services. If early attempts at industrialization by our patriarch had been sustained, infrastructural provision like power, the massive unemployment, and colossal high crime rates we see today might have been averted. Our icon was an educationist. Although he did not have the benefits of formal education, he provided platforms on which many people were educated in this country. He often told us, his children, how he loved education but was denied because his parents couldn't afford it. So he made it a priority in his life to invest in education to achieve this as far back as 1960s. To achieve this, he built the following schools: Edokpolo Primary School, Benin City in 1953, Edokpolo Secondary Modern School, Benin City in 1956, and Edokpolo Grammar School, Benin City in 1960. It was his dream to build a university, but that was in the making at the time God called him. He was not only a proprietor of schools, he was a philanthropist, gave scholarship to indigent students to university level. He was passionate about education and very proud of his nephews who were educated. And this includes Colonel David Neihaye, retired, Mr. Josiah Neihaye, a zoologist, and Jacob Neihaye, a chartered accountant, to mention but a few. He advised his children to be close to them and emulate them. For his children, he assured that whatever level of education a child aspires to, he was willing to finance it. He didn't hide his aspirations for children who were brilliant and focused on their education. His zeal and dogged nature enabled him to leave his footprints in the sands of time. If he had given up or abandoned the site of present Edokpolo Grammar School, where a lion attacked and killed a worker when he was clearing the site, the present citadel of learning wouldn't have come into existence. Where there is a will, there is a way. He hunted and killed the lion, whose sculpture adored the Edokpolo Grammar School premises till this day. The history of Benin State will not be written without the name of the Archbishop, as he joined other eminent personalities like the late Oba Akenzua II of Benin Kingdom and Chief Dennis Osadebe, the late Humphrey Omosage, that fought for the creation of Midwestern region in 1963. As at that time, he had formed a political party called Midwestern People's Congress, and later the Midwest Democratic Party, MDP, with Barrister Kesmir Momo and Chief James Otobo. He was appointed a Minister Commissioner for Trade and Industry in the interim administration of Midwestern region, with Chief Dr. Dennis Osadebe as Premier. His famous anti-corruption crusades television interview dated emasculated the now famous maxim of Erogwe is Erogwe. By this, he postulated that stealing under whatever guise is a crime, which the society must fight and eliminate to promote orderly development, peace, and equity.
I want to tell you, those people, you might have heard the richest the richest Nigerian man at that time is called Chief Petros Okotiebo, the Minister of Finance. Go and see his property at Fafele today. Go there. That is the richest man. The richest man who be ahead of the whole federation, who they kill for just no cause. Go there. All his property is sold. He has nothing there, no house, except the house he built when he was there. If he gets way of making money, would you could have got all his money today? Tell me which of the old politicians, except may so rest in peace, Rewane at that time, when his godfather was alive, he was the chairman of Western Region Development Corporation. We can mention about one or two, but you can't get 90% now of the government now. Do for me, I do for you. He said, do for me, I do for 90 there now. Tell who go there. They say, what they do for us. Do for me, I do for you. Say, bribery and corruption is going to be what? Basha will do all his best. Abacha gentleman that when I was having the Edokpolo barrack, they know me very well, you know. The late Agorise, the head of the First Army, was coming to my rubber factory for security when Samadu Bello would send him because of make people not kidnap me, kill me. Samadu Bello, late Agorise, he said when he come here, driving to Western region before they kill him, he tell Edo, said, you know Edokpolo? This is the man I will always be sent to go for security reasons to stay in his factory. This is the man. He mentioned it to Edo here. I told you that I know something. My good brother, which God will bless, the Basha will know that what I'm saying it with authority that criminals, worse than criminals, they are there in civilians, that's how they are in the army. So therefore, it's not a new thing anywhere. But those days, God-fearing people who are those good politicians who did well to build this country, if anybody say that, count on me. I always mentioned it to the press. I said, I always say, he's still alive, the retired Chief Justice Bego. He was sent my date by the federal government to probe the people who come to be in my administration. Late Sadebe is out in reservation was seized because of roadwork. Ask them, everybody who come there, why? Bible said, if Edokpolo and late Mareri is to be probed, he will not do anything. Because these people are find out that these people bring their money from their house to help the government.
On this occasion of the 25th anniversary of the passing to glory of a great legend, Archbishop Edokpolo, I, on behalf of my family and the entire members of New Covenant Gospel Church, continue to thank God for the life that Archbishop Edokpolo lived. In Proverbs 10, verse number 7, the Bible said, the memory of the just is blessed. I can never forget when Baba himself drove to my office and brought me to this place where our church is presently located. And he told me he wasn't hungry, he wasn't in need of money, he just wanted to be a blessing to me. And he took a tape by himself and measured this place out. And we had no money, we had nothing. You know, we allowed us to pay in pieces the little money we paid for this place. Years have gone since he passed, but he lives on. A man who never had the benefit of Western education, but has touched many people, raised many leaders, influenced many people around the world. Many who passed through his educational institutions have become very credible voices all around the world. As we mark this special occasion, I rejoice with his children and members of the Edokpolo family. You should take pride in the accomplishment of a very unique father. I congratulate you for putting this together. May God continue to keep you. May he continue to watch over you. May you also make impact in your generation. In Jesus' name, Amen.
Today, the shedding of Nigerians, our dear country, is ominously described as fantastically corrupt. All Nigerians need to join hands with the Buhari administration to tame the monster called corruption so that our great nation can fully realize its God-given potential as the giant of Africa and the hope of the black race.
Arch Bishop Edokpolo was very interesting. Very jovial. Capable of giving you parables, things that we always remember in your life. So it's very interesting. And above all, you see, you call on him at any time, and he takes you. He has no, he has no protocol.
Anytime you call him.
Oh yes, it's available.
Yes.
Yes, there's no protocol. He's sleeping. Who says no? It's not him. The first person to wake you in the morning, given the chance. Oh yes, my son. Speaking that. Daddy, good morning, sir. Good domo. So, it's a fantastic human being.
It was fatherly.
Fatherly, yeah.
So when did you get to know him intimately?
Okay. I've always known him. At the time when he was coming up, he was selling bicycles. Rally bicycles, Hercules. Then later on, he was selling, or he was buying and selling rubber. I too, when I left school, I bought rubber, also selling to him. But before then, was a time he was having was using trucks. Those trucks
To carry rubber.
to carry load.
Okay.
He would rent them out.
Okay. Yes.
So because we were young too, and our age mates group were also on that trade, we were assisting him. He was the last born of Edokpolo. Then I am the first born of Nehikari, his own elder brother. In other words, it's like after him, the next person to him was myself.
Oh. And that is why you are
the as you will call it.
Yes, right.
Otherwise, I'm like his immediate
Younger
brother. Well, as a Christian, I don't believe in incarnation. But if it's something that exists, definitely I would like to have him back in our family, because Arch Bishop Edokpolo is very interesting, hardworking, honest in his own right. I would definitely have him back in our family. He was the last born of the father, and I'm the first of the grandson. In other words, I'm senior to all his children and my father's children. So I now have a larger family. His own children, the children of other Edokpolo, their own half-brothers. They are now under my influence. See, they are now under me.
Okay.
They're my care. And, it is my responsibility to give them advice, to probe them, and then whenever they seek my assistance, I will let them help you out. Yeah.
What message do you have for the children themselves?
Yes, all along we telling them that they have to cooperate, most importantly, and to be peaceful. They have to emulate their father, mostly in all those attributes which made him great. And above all, they have to be